We spend our days trapped in boxes. We wake up in a box, we stare at a glowing box in our hands. We drive in a metal box to sit in a concrete box for 8 hours. In these boxes, our problems grow massive. A late email feels like a declaration of war. A missed promotion feels like the end of the world. Our ego expands to fill the room, convincing us that we are the center of a chaotic, demanding universe. We feel a crushing weight on our chests, a constant humming anxiety that tells us everything matters and everything is urgent. But what if the cure for your panic isn't found in doing more, but in looking up? What if the secret to peace is realizing just how small you truly are? There was once a man named Oliver, a data analyst who lived his life in increments of seconds. Oliver was a master of the micro. He tracked every calorie, every dollar, and every minute of his day. He believed that if he could just control every detail, he would finally feel safe. But the details, his mind was a tangled web of what-ifs. He felt like he was drowning in a sea of trivial concerns that felt like life or death crises. One Friday night, after a particularly brutal week of deadlines, Oliver found himself standing on his balcony, gasping for air. The city lights were so bright he could barely see the sky. In a moment of desperation, he got into his car and drove. He drove away from the neon, away from the hum, until the road turned to gravel and the air turned cold and sweet. He climbed a small hill far from the city's glow, and he looked up. For the first time in years, Oliver saw the Milky Way. It was a silver scar across the velvet blackness of the infinite night. Millions of stars, scattered like diamond dust, stared back at him. As he sat there, he felt a strange physical sensation. It was as if the tight knot in his chest was slowly being untied by the vastness above. He looked at a tiny flickering point of light. The Andromeda Galaxy, he remembered, reading that the light he was seeing right now had left that galaxy 2.5 million years ago. Those ancient photons had traveled through the void of space, past exploding stars and silent planets, just to land on his retina at that exact second. In the face of that light, Oliver's crisis at work began to shrink. His missed deadline, his awkward conversation with his boss, his fear of the future. They didn't disappear, but they lost their weight. Compared to the lifespan of a star, his entire life was less than a heartbeat. Compared to the size of the galaxy, his problems were literally smaller than atoms. This is what scientists call the cosmic perspective. Most of our anxiety comes from a distorted sense of scale. We think we are the protagonists of a grand drama, and every mistake is a plot hole that ruins the story. But when you look at the stars, you realize that you aren't the protagonist. You are a beautiful, temporary witness to a masterpiece that has been unfolding for 13 billion years. This realization isn't scary. It is the ultimate form of liberation. If you are small, you are free. You don't have to carry the weight of the world because the world doesn't belong to you. The universe has been fine long before you arrived, and it will be fine long after you leave. You are allowed to be a nobody in the grandest, most peaceful sense of the word. Oliver returned to the city, but he carried the sky inside him. When a project went wrong, he would close his eyes for a moment and visualize the pillars of creation. Light years away, he would remind himself, I am a collection of stardust, briefly capable of thought, standing on a spinning rock in the middle of an infinite ocean. This didn't make him lazy. It made him brave. He was no longer afraid to fail because he knew that in the grand timeline of the universe, there is no such thing as a permanent failure. The stars offer us a mental sanctuary. They remind us that our problems are real, but they are not ultimate. They invite us to trade our narrow-angle lens, which focuses only on our pain, for a wide-angle lens that sees the whole picture tonight. If you feel the walls of your life closing in, I want you to step outside. If you can't see the stars through the city lights, close your eyes and imagine them. Picture the Hubble Deep Field. Thousands of galaxies in a tiny patch of sky no bigger than a grain of sand held at arm's length. You are part of that. You are a way for the universe to know itself. Stop trying to manage the galaxy. Just enjoy the view. Your anxiety cannot survive the vastness. You are safe in your smallness.